going on YouTube? My name is AK540 and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about weird shit that's been going on in the world recently. The first story comes as a 62-year-old guy called Nick Carson suffers from a rare condition that turns carbohydrates directly into alcohol. Some people are known to have so-called sweet tooth due to their penchant for cakes and chocolates. But for Carson, a former business owner from Suffolk, England, eating anything rich in carbohydrates can literally make him drunk because his body turns it into alcohol. The syndrome that the guy suffers from is called Brewery syndrome, or ABS, and the condition means that he can become blind drunk within a matter of minutes from just eating cakes and biscuits. The guy is forced to take a breathalyzer everywhere where he goes, just in case, and it is believed that his condition was caused by chemicals that he was exposed to 20 years ago. The guy's got a goddamn superpower. It's getting drunk. He says, I basically become an involuntary alcoholic because this condition makes you one, whether you want to be or not. He said having a little bit of sugar or carbohydrates can quickly make him become drunk. He tries to stick to a keto-based diet, but it's hard because there are carbs in all sorts of foods. He said he can go from being stone cold sober to being 3 times over the driving limit in a matter of minutes, which he says is quite scary, and the effect isn't pleasant, and he has sections of his memory where he just can't think or even remember anything that had happened, and he tends to just talk a lot of crap and walk around in circles. He says fortunately his wife has been extremely supportive and helps him cope with his condition. He says he hopes that sharing his story may help people become more knowledgeable about ABS. I think a lot of people are going to be knowing this. They're going to know this ABS exists, and they're going to want to know the hell chemical did he get into contact with? Where can I find it? Damn. In other weird news, conservationists have spotted a unique type of giraffe that they call dwarf giraffes. For the first time ever, abnormally short dwarf giraffes have been spotted in Uganda and Namibia. Resembling miniature versions of their regular counterparts, these pint-sized long-necked mammals, which look strangely disproportional due to their chunky, thick boy legs, are about half the size of normal giraffes. One of them has been named Gimli, after the character from Lord of the Rings, and he was spotted in Uganda's Murchison Falls, and probably murdering that national park, while another one called Nigel, from Gimli to Nigel, my god, was found on a private farm in Namibia. The initial reaction was disbelief, said the study lead Michael Brown. Researchers believe that the two animals are actually suffering from a type of skeletal dysplasia, which causes abnormal bone development. They are the only giraffes in the world known to have this condition, and conservationists have warned that Nigel and Gimli could be at a greater risk from predators because, unlike other giraffes, they don't have the ability to effectively run away or kick. They could also struggle to compete with other giraffes for food in tall trees. The fact that this is the first description of dwarf giraffe is just another example of how little we know about these charismatic animals, said the Giraffe Conservation Foundation co-founder Julian Fennessy. Thiccboi Giraffes. You should Google this. They have some interesting thick boy legs. They definitely don't skip leg day. They love a good tread. And finally, the last thing that we're going to be talking about in today's quick video is Nick Pope says the clock is ticking on UFO disclosure. The former MOD UFO researcher maintains that US officials have already shared UFO data with the UK. The truth is out there. One of the most prominent figures in the field of UFO research, Nick Pope famously worked for the British Ministry of Defence from 1991 to 1994. During that time, he was tasked with investigating reports of unidentified flying objects to determine whether or not they posed a risk to national security. Can't speak, sorry. Like many UFO researchers, he has been keeping a keen eye on the developments concerning the recent US funding bill, which compels agencies to release what they know about UFOs within 180 days. He said the US Department of Defense has known since June of the committee's request, and the US Navy's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, or UAP, UAP task force, is probably already working on drafting the response, so it might get it sooner than the late June deadline. He also says that he is aware that the UAP task force has shared some interim findings with the UK and other allies, but doesn't know if the MOD has formally engaged with the US allies, or simply noted the findings. He said the official position on the MOD is that they are no longer interested and haven't been interested in UFOs since the investigations were terminated at the end of 2000. However, he has a reliable and well-placed sources that say that this isn't entirely correct and the sightings are still being looked at the margins of other defense businesses. And in terms with like the UFO, the terms UFO are being scrupulously avoided, to try and avoid creating Freedom of Information Act liability. So, those are your weird stories for 2021. I'll see you again in a week with some more weird stories. Hope you're all doing well and have a great evening. I've been your host, AK540. This is not my real voice. Have a nice evening. Goodbye, good evening, and good night.